Hello there and thanks for joining me. I'm digital artist Rutten, and in this video I'll share some tips that'll help you build confidence in your artistic abilities. So first of all, what is confidence? Confidence is a certainty of being able to predict an outcome based on your own experiences. People will like this painting, people will buy this painting, I'll get this job. But there's usually a reason behind the confidence. People will buy this painting because I've sold many like it, or it was highly requested, or I think it looks cool. But confidence is not entirely about being positive. You can also be confident in failure as well. No one will like this painting, I'll never be successful, I can't draw very well. So what this comes down to is the lens that you view your world through. No one is psychic. No one can predict an outcome for which there is uncertainty. The only way to know is to try, and the only way to succeed is to give it your best effort, even if there is a risk of failure. Optimism drives confidence, pessimism drives failure. You must be optimistic about future outcomes. As soon as you change your attitude, you'll begin to see many more positive things happen in your life. And these aren't baseless platitudes that I'm spewing. This is coming from my own experience as an artist. I've gone through the entire spectrum of being very confident in myself and not confident at all. It's sort of like the tide coming in and out. There's an ebb and flow of confidence in everybody. For example, I thought a little bit about when I was most confident and least confident, and I went ahead and made a chart based on age and confidence level. And so if you look over here at my chart, it starts out at birth and it goes all the way up until old age. And of course, I'm only 34. So I don't know what it's like to be old, and I don't know whether or not I'll be more confident or less confident than I am now, but I do know my confidence level from when I was a child until now. So I'm gonna assume, since I wasn't really all that conscious at birth, that I probably didn't have a whole lot of confidence. I didn't know what anything was. I had some things built into my DNA. For example, I was confident in eating and pooping and crying and things like that, but I didn't know how to do anything else, and so I had to build confidence in things like walking and talking and things like that. So as I grew into a toddler, I became more confident, and even more confident as I became a child. And so that's where my confidence kind of starts to peak, and then it drops off a little bit as I head into the teenage years. And I say this because maybe it's just a thing with all teenagers, but you tend to lose a little bit of confidence. In my case, I was always concerned about how I looked or what people thought of me, and there were all these things that got in the way that clouded my mind and really reduced my level of confidence as a teenager. And so there's a bit of a dip for me. It might not have happened that way for you, but if you are a teen and you're feeling like you lack confidence, just know that that's a dip that you'll come out of. And so as I move into my 20s, I start to get a little bit more confident, but not a whole lot more, because your 20s are a little bit difficult. You're not a kid anymore, you have to do things on your own, you have to figure out how to pay rent and survive, and starting out you're probably not going to have a great job. So I gained a little bit of confidence, but I can't say I gained a lot, but it took me out of that dip that I went into in my teen years. Now, moving into my 30s, I gained a lot of confidence, and I feel like that's where I've gained the most confidence, and where I feel the most confident is now here currently in my 30s. And that's because it took through my 20s to get my act together, to build up my art career, and to get to where I want to be. And now that I'm at that point, I can feel a lot more confident in myself because I've been able to experience success. So where my confidence level is going to go beyond age 30, I don't know. I'm going to hope that it keeps going up, but we'll just have to see. So obviously confidence is important, but how do you be confident 100% of the time? You can't. Nobody's confident 100% of the time in all scenarios. But a lot of people are good at putting on a facade or faking it. So let's talk a little bit about having confidence and faking confidence. Faking confidence is when you're really not confident, but you pretend like you are. And we've all done it, it's human nature. You get into a situation where you're really unfamiliar, but you don't want people to laugh at you or judge you, and so you pretend like you know what you're doing, but you really don't. And occasionally it works and you squeak by and nobody notices, but a lot of the time you screw up and it's very obvious that your confidence is completely phony and you don't know what you're doing. For me personally, I think that it's important to fake confidence sometimes, just not all the time, because everyone's gonna have a dip in their confidence level. And so why not kind of fill that in a little bit by being a little more optimistic about situations that you're nervous about. I'm not saying pretend to be something that you're not. What I'm saying is just go into it with a positive mindset rather than a negative mindset feeling like you're gonna fail. And it's important to not mistake egotism for confidence. Egotism is a whole different thing. That's being self-centered, And for example, you could feel like you're the greatest artist in the world, but that's not a rational reason to feel confident. You need to break down your life into smaller parts and deal with having and building confidence on individual levels rather than trying to encompass everything. So here's the part you've been waiting for. How do you have confidence in your art and your artistic abilities? First, you have to recognize your strengths. Everybody is good at something, so focus more on what you're good at rather than what you're bad at. We all have weaknesses, so practice to get better at your weaknesses. Studying is really important because if you have a good solid foundation, for example, if you've studied how to draw a face from a technical and anatomical point of view, you're going to be a lot more confident drawing faces rather than just drawing them from imagination. The next tip is to take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush through a painting or that you have to be successful immediately. Don't get in over your head. Focus more on what you're comfortable with rather than things that you're not that experienced with. Accept your flaws as part of what defines your style. Be aware that all artists have flaws and no one is perfect. Don't tear yourself down because you are the greatest obstacle in the way of reaching your goals. Don't listen to negative people. We all experience negative opinions from people. It happens to everybody, but don't let it get to you. This is one of the most important ones, and that is put your work out there because compliments, sales, and recognition all build confidence. Make a conscious effort to ignore the negative inner voice. The positive voice is there too, so pass the microphone to it sometimes. And last but not least, accept that you are not going to succeed 100% of the time and use failure as a learning experience to help you do better next time. So there you go, those are some tips on how to build your confidence in your artwork and your artistic abilities. If you found this information helpful, take a quick second to like this video. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. I have a lot more videos for digital artists like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.